guys, welcome back to our channel Mo and Ash Vibes. We are back with another video on IELTS. As you guys know, we have started our IELTS series in which last time we covered the IELTS listening module. Today we are going to do the reading module. So let's get started. So the first thing we are going to talk about is the basic pattern of the reading exam. So the reading exam is divided into 3 sections. There are a total of 40 questions. You get 60 minutes to answer those questions, and in this case you do not get any extra time to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. So now let's talk about what is the difference between academic reading and general reading. If you are getting a reading module in academic exam, it will be divided into 3 sections, but each section will have only 1 passage. However, in the general reading exam, although there are 3 sections, but section 1 may contain more than 1 passage, section 2 may contain more than 1 passage, and section 3 is usually 1 long passage. Another major difference is that in the academic exam, the topics that you get, they are from the ads or newspapers or journals, but those topics are suitable for people or students who want to take admission in university or college. In general reading, the topics are also taken from ads, magazines, newspapers, but the topics are very general topics. These are the topics on the things that you experience on day-to-day basis in an English-speaking environment. So now let's talk about the different kind of questions that can be asked in the reading module. Different question types that we are going to cover today are true, false, not given, multiple choice question, sentence completion, summary completion, matching sentence endings, short answer questions, match headings, matching information, matching features, and diagram labeling. So the materials that we have used to explain you all these question types until matching information has been designed by us. However, the material that we have used to explain matching features has been taken from IELTS.idp.com, and the material used for explaining diagram labeling type of question has been taken from IELTS.org.com. The first kind of question that we are going to cover is your true or false and not given, and next is yes, no, and not given. So I have seen a lot of time people get confused between the two. They think that both of these questions are same. Well, that's not true. They might look similar, but they are not same. So for example, if you get a question to reply in true or false, do not write yes or no. For example, if you get a question and the answer to that question is true, however, instead of writing true, you are writing yes, that would be considered as a wrong answer. So now what is the difference between the two? Difference is that if you are getting a text which is based on the factual information, then you have to reply in true or false. However, if the information is based on the writer's opinion, then the answer will be in yes or no. At the same time, I would also say that you do not have to worry too much about it, because in the instructions it will be given to you whether you have to reply in true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given. Make sure you are reading the instructions properly and replying accordingly. So you don't have to worry too much about it. But the reason why I'm telling you this is because if you are writing true instead of yes, or vice versa, that would be considered as wrong. So it was important for me to explain you the difference between the two. A lot of times I've also seen that people really get confused between a false statement and a not given information. For example, if you look at this statement, Peter likes to eat burger with fries, and then we have been provided with these 3 questions and we have to reply to them as true or false or not given. So if you look at the first one, it says Peter likes burger with fries, which is true. So this one is a clear true. In the next question, it says Peter likes burger without fries. Now that is false, because Peter likes to eat his burger with fries. If you look at the third one, it says Peter today ate burger with fries. A lot of times people would write this one as false too, But in reality, this one is not false, it is not given. False is the wrong answer. The correct answer is not given. Now, how to make out the difference between the false statement or a not given information? Well, it's pretty simple. If your statement matches the information in the text, then it is true. If your statement do not match the information in the text, then it's a false answer. For example, here Peter likes burger without fries. But here it says that Peter likes to eat burger with fries. Now this information is the complete opposite information of this. So clearly this one is false. However, if your statement says something that is not given in the text at all, so in that case, that answer would be not given. For example, in this case, Peter today ate burger with fries. Now, in the information, nothing is given that whether he ate it today or not, or whether he's having it or not. So in that case, since this information is not given at all, then it would be a not given statement. I already told you the difference between the yes and no questions and true and false questions. However, the basic technique that you would be using in the yes and no questions would be exactly the same. Now let's try to solve this true and false and not given information kind of question. Now I'm going to show you a passage on your screen. You can pause your video to read the passage and then we will try to solve it together. I hope you've read the text. Now let's try to solve the question. The first question says DDCR is operating from only 30 major cities. Now they have used the word only. So now this is clearly false because it is also operating from 15 rural areas. So the word only makes it a clearly false answer. So that would be a false. Now the next question is DDCR has strict adoption policies to ensure that the rescue dogs get a loving and caring home. Well, this line is already given in the text, so of course this is a true answer. The last question says DDCR representatives conduct financial background checks on the families willing to adopt rescue dogs. Now they do conduct checks on the families. The inspection is done on the families, but whether it's a financial one or not, nothing has been mentioned. So in this case, it will be not given. Now let's move on to our next question type, which is the multiple choice question answer. In this case, they give you a question, and sometimes instead of giving you a question, they will give you a statement, and then you will be presented with a lot of options. You have to choose the correct option out of the given options. Sometimes they would ask you to choose two best answers for the question. So in that case, you can choose more than one option. So make sure that you are reading the instruction properly, because sometimes they will ask you to choose one best answer and sometimes it could be more than one. Now let's look at the first question. Before reading the question, let's look at the instructions. Choose the best answer from the options, which means we are only allowed to choose one answer out of the given options, which also means that only one answer would be correct from the given options. After reading the instructions, now we are going to read the question. DDCR provides shelter to. Now, if you can see here, there is no question mark. So this is not a question, but a statement. So now the options are A, cats and cows. Well, he's talking about like dogs. There are other animals roaming around in the street and it can be seen in the parks, but he hasn't said anything about providing shelter to them. So clearly this is not the right answer. Then more than 100 cows. Now, if you go through the text, that in the end it is written that they did some campaign and they helped in saving more than 100 cows from the road accidents. But do they provide shelter to them? Nothing has been mentioned about it. So of course this is also not the correct answer. The third option is all the stray animals. Now the aim of the shelter is to help as many animals as possible in the future. That's a future aim. That's what they are aiming for in the future. But at present, nothing has been said about providing shelter to all the stray animals. So of course this is also not the correct answer. Last option is dogs. It is very clearly mentioned in the text that right now they try to rescue as many dogs as possible and they provide shelter to them until they are adopted. So very clearly dogs is the correct answer. So now I've already told you in the listening module also, it is very important to also eliminate the wrong answers to be double sure. So when you are going through the questions, even if at the first go you know it's the correct answer, make sure that you are eliminating the other wrong answers as well to be double sure. So now let's look at the next question. What does DDCR do? Choose the best two answers out of the given options. So now this is a question, it is not a statement. So it's asking us a question that what does DDCR do? And then it says choose the best two answers, which means that out of the given options, two answers would be correct. So now let's go through the options. First one is provide shelter to all the animals. It's very clearly mentioned in the text that it provides shelter to dogs. So of course this is not the correct answer. Works with other shelters to support animal rescue. Yes, it works with the other shelters to support animal rescue. As we know, it also did one campaign to save cows. So this is the correct answer. Then provide shelter to dogs till their treatment is complete. Well, no, it does provide shelter to dogs, but it provides shelter to dogs till their adoption is done, till they get adopted. So this statement is not correct. So which means this is wrong. Rescue dogs from the contracted cities. It's very clearly mentioned in the text that they rescue dogs from the contracted cities. So of course this is the correct answer. Now we already got our two correct answers. Just to be double sure that what we chose was the correct answer, we will go through the option E as well. Played a major role in one of the biggest campaign to save cats. Well, it did play a major role in one of the biggest campaigns, but that campaign was to save cows and not cats. So of course this is also the wrong answer. So now since we are able to eliminate the wrong answers, so we are now double sure that these two are the correct answers. Now we move on to our next question type, which is the sentence completion. In this, few lines will be given to you from the paragraph with blank spaces. You have to choose the correct word from the paragraph itself and complete the sentences. That is why it is called sentence completion. Now the important thing over here is that you must read the instructions properly, because in the instructions it will be mentioned to you that how many words can you use from the paragraph, whether you can use one word or whether you can choose two words. So it is very important that you are reading the instructions properly. Now the thing is, for example, let's say it's asking you to choose one word from the paragraph, but you write down two words. Or vice versa, that they ask you to choose two words but you are only writing one word. In that case, in spite of your answer being correct, it will be considered as wrong as you are not following the instructions properly. So another thing that you might notice in the sentence completion question is that the question that has been asked to you is mentioned in the text or paragraph, but it's in a different format. For example, the question says the best time to eat dinner is before dash. Now, in the text, the line is given to you. The writer claims that the ideal time for dinner is prior to sunset. So it means the same, but the structure of the sentence is different and they have used different words as well. For example, instead of using best time in the text, they have used the word ideal time. And similarly, instead of using word before, they have used word prior. But both of these sentences mean the same. So the correct answer would be sunset. So you have to be very careful with this, that you might not be able to find the exact line what is given to you in the question. So you should be going with the meaning of the line. Like in this case, the lines are different, the structure is different, synonyms have been used, but the meaning remains the same. So you have to look at the meaning of the whole line rather than the exact same line. So you have to be careful about the structure of the sentence. You have to be careful about the synonyms. Synonyms mean same meaning words, like the synonym of before is prior, and similarly best time is the ideal time. So they have used synonyms and different structure of the sentence. So you have to be careful about these two factors. Another thing you have to be careful about is the spelling and grammar, because if your answer is correct but you write a wrong spelling or your grammar is not correct, then also it would be considered as wrong answer. Now again, I'm going to show you a paragraph on your screen along with the questions. You can pause the video, go through the questions, go through the paragraph, and then we will solve it. Let's solve the question, but before looking at the question, we will read the instructions. So in the instruction, it says choose no more than 2 words, which means that we can choose either 1 word or 2 words from the text to fill up the blanks. Now let's look at the question. Plastic bags consumed by cows along with food leads to. Now they were talking about that people throw plastic bags and everything out in the open, and animals consume those plastic bags. And then in the very next line, they say that cows swallow those plastic bags, which leads to painful death, which means painful death is the correct answer. So now if they've asked us to use the exact same words from the text, we have to use the exact same words. We cannot just put our own synonyms or anything else. We have to use the exact words from the text, which is painful death. Now they have told us to choose no more than 2 words, so it's okay to put painful death. If they would have asked us to put only 1 word, if we were allowed to use only 1 word, then we would have put death here instead of painful death. Then we wouldn't have put the painful word here. But since we are okay and allowed to use 2 words, we are putting the whole painful death word here. The next question, the campaign encourages the dash of plastic bags to tackle the problem at its root level. At the end of the paragraph, it is mentioned about it, but they have used different words. So they have used word promotes instead of encourages, and to tackle the problem instead of word tackle, they have used word deal. So although they have used different words, but the meaning of the sentence is same. So they have used synonyms, but the whole meaning of the sentence remains the same. So we are going to use the word banning here. So banning would be the correct answer. Now we move on to our next question type, which is summary completion. In this type of question, a paragraph will be given to you, which would be the summary of the text. And then there will be some blank spaces. You will have to fill up those blank spaces with the correct words. Now these words you will either have to choose from the text itself, or you will be provided with a list of words and you will have to choose the correct words from that list. Now these words could be synonyms, which means similar meaning words, or they could also be antonyms, which means the opposite meaning words. Which is why it is very important that you understand the main idea of the text. If you know what they are talking about in the paragraph, what is the main idea of the paragraph, then it will be much more easier for you to find the correct word. Usually the summary is just a part of the text and not the whole text. So for example, you have a text in which there are 3 or 4 paragraphs. So it's possible that they would only give you the summary from one part of the text, which means out of the 3 or 4 paragraphs, maybe you'll just get the summary from one of the paragraphs. Now you guys can look at your screens. I have provided you with the paragraph, and at the same time I've also provided you with the summary from the text with the blank spaces. You have to choose the correct words from the text itself in this case. You can pause the video and go through the paragraph and the incompleted summary. So now the first thing to note over here is we go through the instructions that says complete the summary with words from the text, write no more than 1 word for each answer, which means we have to choose the correct word from the text, but at the same time we can only choose one word. So if you put two words here, that would be considered as a wrong answer. So you have to make sure that you are following the instructions properly. Now let's look at the first line. DDCR is hugely responsible to minimize dash by accidents. So now, as I told you before, that when you're trying to do the summary completion, you have to go by the meaning of the sentence, what they are talking about, what is the meaning, and then you try to look for the word in the summary. In this case, they are talking that DDCR is hugely responsible, which means DDCR has played a great role in something and has been a driving factor in something. So if you just look at the first line in the paragraph, it says DDCR has been a driving factor, which means it has been hugely responsible in reducing, now reducing means minimizing, the deaths of stray dogs by accident. So the correct word over here would be deaths. Now let's look at the next line. The rescue warriors are known for their exceptional rate of dash. Now they are talking about rescue warriors, and they do something which is very exceptional. So we have to look for an exceptional thing in the text. Now, if you go to the paragraph and read the paragraph, it says the response rate of the rescue representatives is exceptionally quick, which saves lives of many dogs. So now the thing that they do exceptionally good is the response rate. So the exceptional rate of response would be the correct word. Next, the line says their first point of contact is their dash. So now in this line, they're talking about that after they rescue the dog, their first point of contact with the rescued dog is which place. So we have to look for that thing in the text. So let's read through the paragraph. It says that the rescue representatives have a built-in first aid center at the back of their vehicle, which they use as the first point of contact, which means the back of the vehicle is the place where they use as the first point of contact. But since we are only allowed to use one word here, so vehicle would be the correct answer. Now the next line says there are full-time and part-time vets that also travel to other cities if there is a need of a dash. Now if you look at this line, they says that they do have full-time and part-time vets working for them, but if there is a need of something, they are ready to travel to another city. So if you just look at the fourth line from the bottom where it starts from DDCR, it says DDCR has a team of vets on full-time and part-time basis, and these vets travel to other cities if certain type of specialist is required. So they travel to other cities if there is the requirement of a specialist. So since we are talking about the need here, which is the same thing as the requirement, so the correct answer in this case would be a specialist. It's not that difficult. As long as you understand the meaning of the text, you would be able to find words pretty easily. Now I'm going to show you another text, and in this case I will be providing you with the list of words, and you have to choose the words from that list and fill up those blanks. So let's look at this example now. In this case, you have to complete the summary using the words from the list. Now let's look at the incompleted summary. So now let's look at the first blank. DDCR is hugely responsible for dash deaths by accidents. Now if you look at the paragraph, just in the first line, it says that it has been a driving factor in reducing the death of stray dogs by accident. It means it has played a role in reducing the death. So we have to look for the word reducing, but if we do not have the reducing word in the list, then we have to look for a similar meaning word which is the synonym of reducing. So let's look at the list. So the first word is preventing, then it is extraordinary, and then the third word is minimizing. So yes, minimizing means the same as reducing, so the correct word in this case would be minimizing. So some of you may get confused between using the word minimizing or preventing, and some of you might think that preventing is the correct answer, but no, you cannot use the word preventing, because to prevent means to stop something completely and it's not happening again. But if we read the first line, they have said to us that DDCR has been the driving factor in reducing the death. It means they have reduced the death. They haven't said that the deaths have stopped happening and it's not happening anymore. There are no accidents happening anymore. They have said that it has reduced from before. So we have to look for a synonym of reducing, and the correct word would be then minimizing. Similarly, if you look at the second line, it says the rescue warriors are known for dash response time. So now we know that they have an exceptionally quick response time. So we have to look for a meaning which is similar to exceptionally. So if we go through the list, first one was preventing. So no, this could not be the correct answer. Second is extraordinary. Well, that's correct, because extraordinary does mean exceptional. Yes, the second blank would be extraordinary. So the correct answer would be the rescue warriors are known for extraordinary response time. Now, if you look at the third blank, it says their first dash of contact is their vehicle, which means they were talking about that their first point of contact is the back of their vehicle. So they are talking about the first point. So first point is the first place that they are contacting the rescued animal. So let's look at the word from the list. We have to look for a synonym for the first place of contact, point of contact. So let's look at the words again. Preventing could not be the answer. Extraordinary could not be the answer. Third is minimizing, so no, that could not be the answer. Fourth place is ambulance. So they did say that their first point of contact is their vehicle, but they have not said anything about ambulance as such. It's the vehicle. It could be their own personal vehicle. It doesn't have to be an ambulance. And at the same time, if you just look at it, their first dash of contact. So of course you cannot fill it up the ambulance of contact. So we are still looking for a synonym which is the similar meaning for the first place of contact. So now let's look at the next word. That would be expert. So no, that could not be the answer. Sixth is predictable. No, that cannot be the answer. Then the next word is site. Yeah, so yeah, site does mean a place where they are contacting. So their first site of contact is their vehicle, which means the same as the first point of contact or the first place of contact is their vehicle. So in this case, site would be the correct answer. Now let's look at the next blank. The vets also travel to another cities if an dash is required. So as we know that in the paragraph, they do mention that they have full-time and part-time vets who also travel to another cities if certain type of specialist is required. So we have to look for a word from the list which means the same as specialist. So it cannot be preventing, it cannot be extraordinary, it cannot be minimizing, it cannot be ambulance. Next word is expert. So yeah, expert does mean who is good at his work or who's good at something, who's the expert of something, which means the same as specialist. So the correct answer should be expert. So guys, this is how we solve the summary completion questions. You can get two kinds, as I just explained to you. In one case, you have to choose the words from the text itself. In the next case, you will be provided with a list of words and you have to choose the correct word from the list. So it is very important for you in this case also to follow the instructions so that you know that how many words can you fill the blanks with. Can it be one word or more than one word? And the next important thing is that you go by the meaning of the text, because it's not necessary that they will provide you with the exact lines from the text. They could just write the similar meaning lines, or they can paraphrase the text, or they can use the synonyms or antonyms. So you have to be going with the meaning of the sentence. If you understand the meaning and the main idea of the text and the summary, it will be much easier for you to find the words. So So now let's talk about the next question type, which is matching sentence endings. So in this type of question, first half of the sentence will be given to you, and then you have to look for the remaining half of the sentence from the text. There will be options given to you, so you have to choose the correct option. Again, it is very important to note here that it is not necessary that the exact lines will be given, so you have to figure out the meaning of the text. This way you will be able to find the endings in a better way. Now the questions that will be asked to you will be in the order of the paragraph, which means, let's say you have a paragraph here and you have, let's say, 5 questions. Let's say you have already got the answer for question number 1 over here. So the answer to the question number 2 would be in the lines after this line. It cannot be here. It will always be after the answer number 1. So it would be somewhere after this line. So you have to look for it after this. You don't have to worry about going back and reading it all over again, because the questions that will be asked will be in the order of the paragraph. The best way to approach this type of question is that you read the question and the options that has been given to you first, and then after that you read the paragraph. The reason behind this is that if you are going to read the question first, you will be able to understand that what are they talking about, what are they asking us to find, and also we will be able to identify the keywords. So if we read the paragraph after we have read the questions and the options, it will be much easier for us to look for the main things, and then we would know what to focus on. Rather than focusing on all the extra information, we would be able to focus on the main point. So let's look at this example. Jo was out in the sun the whole day. That caused her dehydration, due to which dash. So now the moment we look at this question, we would know that they are talking about that Jo was out in the sun, which caused her dehydration, and something happened after dehydration. So when we are skimming through the paragraph, we would know that we have to look for the information that something happened after dehydration. So when we are reading the paragraph, we can just focus on that information. This way we would be able to find this answer more quickly. In this question type as well, they might use synonyms or antonyms, or they might say the same line in a different way. So again, be sure that you are going with the meaning of the sentence rather than looking for the exact same line. Now I'm going to show you the paragraph and also the questions, and we will try to solve this together. I hope you guys followed my instruction and then read the paragraph after reading the question and the options. Now let's look at the first question. The first question says health problems are caused when the plastic blocks the intestinal tract of animals as. So they are talking about that why the plastic blocks the intestinal tract of animals. So we have to look for that information. So now let's look at the options. They think it is food. Well, plastic doesn't block the intestinal tract because they think it is food. So of course this cannot be the right answer. They lead to painful death. Of course this cannot be the right answer. They cannot be defecated. Well, yes, they do talk about this, that because the plastic bags cannot be excreted, this causes the health problems and blocks the intestinal tract of animals. So yes, this is the correct answer. So C is the correct answer, that health problems are caused when the plastic blocks the intestinal tract of animals as they cannot be defecated. Now you must have noticed here that they have used the word defecated instead of excreted, as I told you before also, that they might use synonyms. So you have to look for synonyms or antonyms or different sentence structure which means the same. So you have to be careful about that part, and this way you would be able to find answers. Now let's look at the next question. The campaign also encourages. So they are talking about that the campaign is encouraging. Of course, they are trying to save and rescue animals, but the campaign also encourages. So we have to look for an extra information that they are rescuing the animals, they are going to provide the shelter in the future. That's the future aim, but they are also encouraging what? So they think it is food, so of course it is not the correct answer. They led to painful death. Well, of course, even grammatically this is not right, because you have to look for a sentence that will go with this line. So the campaign also encourages, it cannot be these two, because grammatically also it doesn't make sense. So another way that you can find the correct answer, or at least eliminate the wrong answer, is when you know that these sentences are not aligning grammatically. So grammatically the line or the sentence has to be correct. That's another very good way of eliminating the wrong answer. Now the third one, the cannot be defecated. Well, of course this is not the answer. The campaign also encourages plastic bags are used for food products. Again, this line doesn't make sense, only because it is not aligning properly and grammatically it's not correct. So this cannot be the right answer. The next line says the campaign also encourages people to dump plastic bags in the open. Of course that cannot be right, because that's the whole problem. So this is also the wrong answer. The campaign also encourages to put a stop the use of plastic bags. Well, yes, they want that the plastic bags should be banned completely. They are encouraging the banning of plastic bags. So this is the correct answer. So the correct answer in this case would be F. Again, instead of using the word banning, they have used the word or a line to put a stop to, which means the same as banning. So in this case, again, they have said the same thing in a different manner, but which means the same. So we have to go by the meaning of the sentence. Now let's move on to our next question type, which is the short answer question. In this case, they will ask you a question and you have to provide the answer from the text itself. In this case as well, the questions that will be asked to you will be in the order of the paragraph, which again means, let's say if you have a paragraph, then if your first answer you found here, the second answer would be after this only. Now I'm going to show you a paragraph on your screen. Along with that, we will show you the question. So the best approach to do this type of question is also to read the questions first and then read the paragraph. The reason is that if you are going to read the questions first, then you would know what they are looking for, what information they need from the paragraph, and then when you are going through the paragraph, you would be able to focus on the relevant information. Now let's look at the first question. How much does DDCR charge to adopt a rescue dog? It's very clearly mentioned in the text that if somebody wants to adopt a rescue dog, they can adopt at zero cost after the inspection is done. So zero cost would be the correct answer here. And since we are allowed to use two words, so zero cost would be the correct answer. Now the next question is, what is the medium of all types of donations at DDCR? So now they say that all the donations happen with no human interaction and no middle party, and online only. So the correct answer would be online only. Now since you are allowed to use two words, so you can write online only, but let's say if you just write the word online alone, then also that would be considered as a right answer, because you can either choose to write one word or two words, nothing more than that. So online only is also the correct answer, but if you write just online, that would be considered as the right answer as well. Now let's look at the last question. What is the business model of DDCR? In the last line, we can see that it says that DDCR is proud of its non-profit structure, which means the same. So the correct answer in this case would be non-profit. Now we move on to our next question type, which is the matching headings. In this case, a lot of headings will be given to you. You have to match the headings with the correct paragraph. You will be getting more headings than the paragraph to confuse you. You have to look for the right headings for each paragraph. So there are two ways in which you can approach this type of question. The first way is that you read all the headings first and try to figure out the main idea or the key word in each heading. After reading the headings, then you read the paragraph, keeping those keywords or main heading in your mind. This way you will be able to match the things more easily. Another way is to read the paragraph first. Try to figure out the gist of each and every paragraph, that what this paragraph is talking about. For example, there are multiple paragraphs, A paragraph, B paragraph, C paragraph, D paragraph. And then you read each and every paragraph and try to figure out the gist of each paragraph, that what each paragraph is talking about, what is the main idea of this paragraph and what is the main idea of this paragraph. Now when you are done doing that, then you read the headings and then try to match the information in your head. So in this type of question, you will get more headings as compared to the paragraph to choose from. This is to confuse you. So let's say if you have 5 paragraphs marked as A, B, C, D, E. So these are different paragraphs. So for that, you will get a list of headings which would be definitely more than 5. So let's say if you have 8 headings. So now they give you more headings so that you can get confused and it takes you time to understand which heading goes with which paragraph. So now you have to look for the correct heading that would appropriately describe each and every paragraph. Now let's look at the example. I'm going to show you 2 paragraphs on your screen and then I will provide you with a list of headings. Now let's try to solve this. If you look at the first paragraph, paragraph A, in that paragraph mostly it was talking about 3 main things, which was the introduction, which means what DDCR is all about. Then it was also talking about the adoption procedure and process, and then they were also talking about the next 5 years plan to expand. So these are the 3 main things that they are talking about in paragraph A. So when we are trying to look for a heading for this paragraph, the heading should match in at least one of these 3 things. So let's go through the different headings. First heading is reducing accidents. Well, it doesn't match any of these 3 things. Unified approach and collaboration, it doesn't mention anything about these 3 things. Thorough process of adoption, yes, it does mention about the adoption process. So this looks like the correct answer, but just to be double sure, we are going to go through the other headings as well. The process of donation, it doesn't talk anything about donation in this paragraph. Then creating awareness, it doesn't talk about any awareness in this paragraph. So definitely the thorough process of adoption is the correct answer. So we are going to write 3. Now this one represents paragraph A, number 2 represents paragraph B. If we talk about paragraph B, in paragraph B they were mostly talking about the donations. They did talk about their contribution to environment in the first line, but it was very little information, but primarily they were talking about the process of donation. So we will try to find the heading which matches that information. So the first option is reducing accidents. No, it cannot be the correct answer. Unified approach and collaboration, it doesn't mention donation or contribution to the environment. Thorough process of adoption, we have already figured out that that's for paragraph A, so no, this is also not the correct answer. Then the process of donation. Well, this looks like a sure shot correct answer because in B paragraph they were primarily and mostly talking about donation. So B, for the B, which means for question 2, the correct answer is 4. But just to be double sure, we are also going to read the last heading just to be double sure, which is creating awareness. So now they do not talk anything about awareness, so this also is not the correct answer. So you just saw that if you are able to figure out the gist of the paragraph or the main idea or the central idea of the paragraph, like what we did here, that what paragraph A is talking about and what B is talking about, it will be very easy for us to find out the correct heading. Now we move on to our next question type, which is matching information. So in this question type, a lot of information will be given to you from different paragraphs. You have to match the information with the correct paragraph. So let's say if you have 5 questions. Now these 5 questions will be 5 different types of information. So you have to match all of these information with the correct paragraph, which means that you have to tell that in which paragraph this information is present. Now I'm going to show you 2 paragraphs on your screen. Along with that, I'm going to also show you the questions. You have to match the information with the correct paragraph. Now let's look at the question. The first question says sending rescue warriors to support rescue campaigns. So in the paragraph A, they were talking about that how they tried to help another campaign by sending trucks with the representatives, which helped them save more than 100 cows. So definitely this information is given in paragraph A. So paragraph A would be the correct answer. Skin problems can be seen. In paragraph A itself, they were talking about just like dogs, there are so many other animals that can be seen on the roads, in the parks with a lot of skin problems. So yes, this information is described in paragraph A. So again, paragraph A would be the correct answer for this one. Now question number 3 is proper documentation is provided. In paragraph B, they were talking about the donation process, that how the donation process can be done, and the proper receipts and the documentation is provided. So definitely B would be the correct answer. Well, again, it's your choice. You can go through the paragraph first and then look at the options, or you can read the information first and then look at the paragraph. Both ways are correct. But the best way is to first read the options and first read the information and then look at the paragraph. This way, when you are reading the paragraph, it's much easier for you to focus on the important information. Now we are going to do our next question type, which is matching features. In this type of question, you will be given a list of characteristics or features. That could be any inventions, or they could be any list of experts or list of any characteristics. And then you have to match this list with the correct information, which would also be given to you. So let's say, for example, you have been given a list of characteristics and then you have to match those characteristics with the right age group. And similarly, let's say you have been given a list of inventions and probably you have to match it with the right year. So you have to match this information with each other. Both these lists and the information would be given to you. You just have to go through the paragraph and match that information. Now let's practice one sample paper. I'm going to show you 2 paragraphs, and this paragraph has been taken from idp.com, and then the question will be shown to you as well, and then we are going to solve those questions. Now let's try to solve the matching features question type. So first we have to read the instruction. In all the questions, it's very important to read the instructions, because in the instructions they tell us the important information as to how many words we can use, how many times we can use the same letters. So it is very important that you read the instructions. Now the instruction says match each item with the group which first invented or used them. So either first invented them or used them. So we can use both of these things. Write correct letters A to E in the boxes 1 to 4. So the boxes are given to you 1 to 4. You may use the letter more than once. So the options have been given to us: first invented or used, which are A, the Chinese, B, the Indians, C, the British, D, the Arabs, E, the Americans. We have to match these inventions with the people who first used or invented them. Let's look at the first option, which is black powder. So now if you go through the text again, in the first two lines, they have talked about that most historians credit the discovery of the black powder to the Chinese. So in this case, the Chinese would be the correct answer, which is A. Now if we look at the next question, rocket propelled arrows for fighting. So if you go through the text again, and if you look at the 7th, 8th and 9th line of the text from the top, then you will see that by the 13th century, rocket propelled arrows became more common, and then Chinese relied on this type of technology. So in this case as well, the correct answer would be the Chinese. So the correct answer would be A. Now let's look at the next question, rocket as war weapons. Now if you go through the text, in the second paragraph, the first line says that in the 18th century, Europeans became very much interested in using rocket as a war weapons. But I know this is confusing, and a lot of you might think that the Europeans is the correct answer, but it is not the correct answer. Reason being, A, that you will find out if you keep reading the text, and B, there is no option for the Europeans. So if you continue reading the second paragraph, in the 5th line you will see that the incentive of using rocket as war weapons came from India. So in this case, we do have the Indians as one of the options. So the correct answer in this case would be the Indians, which is B. Now let's look at the fourth question, the rocket launcher. Now if you look at the second paragraph of the text and 6th line from the bottom, you will see that it says that the Americans developed a rocket with its own launcher to use against Mexicans in the mid-19th century. So in this case, the correct answer would be the Americans. So the correct answer would be E. So in this question type 2, the best approach is that you read the instructions and the question and the options that has been given to you. This way, when you are going through the text, you would know what you need to look for. Our next question type is a diagram labeling question. In this type of question, a diagram will be given to you. You have to label the specific parts or the specific information that has been asked to you in the diagram, and then you can choose the words either from the text, or a list of words will be provided to you and you have to choose the words from the list. Again, you have to be very sure that you are reading the instructions properly, because if they have asked you to use a particular number of words, you make sure you're using the particular number of words, because if you don't do that, then you won't be getting marks for that. I'm going to show you the text as well as the diagram and questions on your screen, and we will try to solve it. This sample has been taken from www.ielts.org. So whenever you get the diagram question, the first thing that you should do is read the instruction as to what they are asking. So in this case, they are saying, label the tunnels in the diagram below from the box of words that has been provided. So which means we have to label the tunnels which has been marked as 6, 7 and 8. So this is the first thing that we get to know, that these are the tunnels, and then we have to label them. And then they are saying that we have to choose the words from the box, which is this. So now what we have to do is, after we have read the instruction, we have to study the diagram. From what information has been given to us, we can see that this is the different tunnels, and then this is the depth in centimeters. So it's 0, 10, 20, 30, and then we have to label the tunnels, and then these are the types of beetles. So which means that there is a relation between the types of beetles and the different tunnels, and at the same time depth in centimeters. So when you look at the diagram and when you study the diagram, you make out three things, that the information that we have. So this is a rough information, so that when we read the text, we know what we are looking for. So we have to find the relation between the types of beetles, the tunnel, and the depth. So it means these three things are related to each other. So we are going to focus on that information, and then we are going to read the text. We can see that in the third line it says that some large species originating from France excavate tunnels to a depth of approximately 30 centimeters below the dung pad. So which means the large species from France, they dug tunnels 30 centimeters below the dung pad. So in this case, the correct answer for this one would be the French. Now if you look at the sixth line of the second paragraph, it says the shallowest tunnels belong to a much smaller Spanish species that buries dung in chambers that hang like fruit from the branches of a pear tree, which means that the smallest tunnel belongs to the Spanish species. So out of these three, the smallest one is number 8. So in this case, the correct answer would be Spanish. So now, although they have not mentioned that it is 10 centimeters below the dung pad or not, but it still says that it's the smallest one. So clearly 8 would be the Spanish. Now, if you look at the fourth line from the bottom of the second paragraph, it says that South African beetles dig narrow tunnels of approximately 20 centimeters below the surface of the pad. So this means that 20 centimeters below the surface of the pad is from South Africa, and they are the South African species. So the correct answer for the sixth would be South African. So now you must have also noticed that we were able to find the seventh answer the first, and then we were able to find the eighth answer, and we found out the sixth answer the last, which means that the information that is given in the text is in random order. So which means it is not necessary that you will find the sixth answer first, and then you will find seventh, and then you will find eighth. It can be in the random order. So make sure that you are reading the whole text properly and attentively. So similarly, if you get any table completion, form completion or note completion, we are going to use the same strategy. We are going to read the instructions. We would see that how many words can we use, whether we have to choose the words from the text or whether we have to choose the words from the list of words. Then we are going to study the table or the diagram or the form, whichever is given to you. And based on that, we will see that what are they asking for and which information we have to look for when we are reading the text. And after that, keeping that question in our head, we are going to go through the text to figure out what the correct answer is. So now let's talk about the marking of the reading module. Since you have 40 questions, so you will be marked out of 40. So if you're giving an academic exam and if you score 15 out of 40, then your band score is 5. Anywhere if you're scoring between 15 and 22, then your band score remains 5. But if you get 23 out of 40, then your band score becomes 6. Similarly, anything between 23 to 29, your band remains 6. But if you score 30 out of 40, then your band becomes 7. So anywhere between 30 to 34, your band score remains 7. But the moment you get 35 out of 40, your band score becomes 8. Similarly, if you are giving a general exam, if your score is 16 out of 40, your band score is 4. Between 16 to 22, band score remains 4. The moment you get 23 out of 40, your band score becomes 5. Anywhere between 23 to 29, your band score remains 5, but the moment you get 30, your band score becomes 6. Between 30 to 33, your band score remains 6, but the moment you get 34, your band score becomes 7. Similarly, from 34 to 37, your band score is 7 only, but the moment you get 38 out of 40, your band score becomes 8. So this is the marking system of the reading module. So with this, I'm going to end our today's reading module. I hope that this video was useful for you. I am pretty sure that if you are going to use the tips and tricks that I have mentioned in this video, you are going to get great marks. I really wish you guys all the best. If you have any more questions regarding the video or anything, please feel free to comment in the section below. If you have liked our video, please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe to this channel because we are going to come up with more videos like this. And as you know that I have started the IELTS series, so the next module that we are going to talk about would be the writing module. So please stay tuned. Now I will see you in our next video. Until next time,